Guys, I've just finished a book called Notes on Grief by Chimamanda Ngozi, and this is really a beautiful book. And I just skimmed through it when there was a time coronavirus was at peak. So I just went through a couple of its pages, and I was so attached to the words that rather obituarial words were written for her father. And her father was really beloved to her, and he was uh, he died of kidney failure. And during the time when she was in America, and rather England probably, and he was in Nigeria. And like she has you know planted so much of emotions in this brief book. And it took me an hour to finish this book, and I just sort of finished it in one sitting. And so there are you know um, wonderful things written about her father. And he was a professor in Nigeria.University, and he was not political entity, and he was completely academician. He loved mathematics, unlike the writer. And like um, she has written, how do people walk around about functioning in the world after losing a beloved father? For the first time in my life, I'm immersed of sleeping pills, and in the middle of the shower or a meal, I burst into tears. My weariness, superlatives is forever stripped away, and I felt unbrewed, sensitive, and to the sound and the light. I did call my parents daily, as usual. So after a thing like dreaded for so long, I finally arrives in among the avalanche of emotions. There is a bitter, unbearable relief. And I'm stuck in America. Yeah, she was in America. My frustration like blister, scouring for news when the Nigerian airport will open. And the thing was, the Chimenda was stuck in America, and she was not able to attend the funeral and of her father. And she was completely stranded. And her young daughter used to ask about her, father. And it's so simple, very intriguing story um, of love between father and daughter. I completely, at the end of the book, I just wrote that I envy the writer, just because I was not fathered as good as she was. And like she had you know um, she had a tough country. She was having roots in like Nigeria, like Pakistan, right? But she has a sense of support, and she was like coming from the educated background, right? So I envy that her father was so you know full of wisdom. um, so um, like you know um, he was a voracious reader as well. So he was very much happy for the uh, accomplishments the writer has had in the novels she has written. And I mean, one of her novel was also trans- transferred into or translated into a motion picture. And I wish to read her books, because since this book was pretty small, so I kind of you know give my quick thought to read it first, and just go through her other books as well. So she has written about her father. His humor already dry, crisped deliciously as he aged. He read everything I wrote, and this is very wonderful. You know, if somebody who is reading anything you write, it's just a privilege. I envy this because my writings are very much um, compounded to me. I mean, I'm very much a writer for myself. Like nobody reads my work very easily, and none of my family members does. None of my family members. So it's very, you know, gratifying feeling for a writer. Like I'm happy for her despite envy and everything. I He read everything I wrote, and his comments ranged from "this isn't coherent at all" to "have undone myself." Each time I traveled for speaking events, I would send him my itinerary, and he would send textbooks, text follow my progress. Uh, like when she was Denmark, um, and when you get to Denmark, look for Hamlet's house. You should just go and marry your father, my cousin Ogie said often, with a mock exasperation, perhaps because one of my favorite things in the world was just to hang out with my father. So it's a wonderful relationship. So we were belighted to different degrees, um, but he alone was wholly uninfected. Great. He negotiated, compromised, and made decisions, laid down rules, held relatives together. Much of it was a result of being born the first son in the family logo family, and having risen to the mash of expectations and dispensations. He infused meaning into simplest descriptions. Right? Okay, a good man, a good father. I liked to call him a gentleman and a gentleman. So when have you know it's a difficult name to pronounce. uh, Jamanda's father passed away. Her daughter used to come up and just console her time and again, and um, like she used to kind of give her tissues, and this is how I think it has been written, and I really loved some of its passages. I can't even just you know describe in words how I felt this book, and you know so I think every daughter is very much beloved to her father, but beloved to his father, her father. Sorry. So, last paragraph before I wind up. Okay, it's very interesting. Just death could just come hurting you, hurting at you, hurtling at you on any day and any time, as it has done with her. Like her aunt was ill and she passed away, and she has just you know um, described the event. She was perfectly fine in one moment, and the next she had a very bad headache, and the next she was gone. At dark time, inexhaustibly darkened, she had lived with my parents for many years before I was born, and to my sisters. She was more big sister than an aunt. Okay. Um, uh, I feel death, the awareness of my own mortality, so finely threatened, so acute, a new urgency, an impermanence in the air. I must write everything now because who knows how long I have. One day, Oki sends her brother sends a text that I that reads, I miss his dry humor and how he would do funny little dance when he was happy, and how he would pat your cheek and say, "Never mind." It makes my heart leap. All right, thank you for listening to me, although I was mumbling a lot. So this is my review of the book, and I must just request you to read it. It's a very wonderful book, and the most predominant factor about memoirs and obituarial work is that you know you don't have to sort of get away from spoilers. You can give the spoilers because the description is such, you know the conclusion. That's how it is. So thank you very much for listening to me.